In 2, 1, we are live with this week's Pulse, sponsored by Sales Confidence and LinkDeal. My name's James Ski, and I am with our wonderful co-hosts Anup, Khera, and Diran George. Diran, how are you doing this afternoon?
Very good, James. Just saying how color pops. So yeah, I love wearing some color every now and then. So a jacket like this really just helps kind of feel a little bit better on a really grey day like today.
Yeah, it works well on that orange background chair.
I think so. It's quite a nice color match. It's actually quite similar to the color in your Sales Confidence banner.
I'll take that.
There we go.
Coincidence? Is that tax write-off, James? Is that what you've done? Put advertising on the back and then being able to write it off?
This is more of a tax write-off. Santa in the corner there.
Oh, right, nice.
What's going on in your world, Anup?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just saying, it's just been really busy. But can't complain, man. Things are good. I love that look today, by the way, James. You've like the UK's version of Jobsy. I kind of like it.
Well, yesterday I had the beard trim, so shaped up. The hair's growing well. I'm getting it coloured again on Saturday, and then obviously I've got a polo for every day of the week now.
Nice. Wow, nice. Okay, good. I love the way we've gone from tech to fashion tips. If anyone listening, that's what we're doing these days.
Steve Jobs ain't got nothing on me. Well, he isn't got nothing on anyone, but
definitely not now, not these days, right?
No. But what are we going to cover today? Let's do it a little bit differently. Like, why don't we do this? Why don't you all shout out what's on your mind, and then Anup, you pick the one we're going to go for.
All right, cool. Let's wait for people to come in with the comments. We've got viewers on there at the moment. Who wants to come in with a topic? Just put it into the chat, and we can kind of go from there.
Well, while we're waiting for that, these are the things on my mind. Trump winning the election again, hoorah. Sales AI again. Black Friday. I keep hearing about this Black Friday. I don't even know what Black Friday is, so someone can enlighten me on that. Did we not get a woman in the Labour leadership government? Something like that.
Yeah.
Conservative. Yeah. I've also got my desk and my bar being set up as we speak. So I'd like to share something about that.
So you got your what, James? Your desk and your bar?
I've got a bar.
A bar.
For what, your home office?
No, for my outbuilding. We've got a podcast studio.
Yeah.
And then there's an actual bar where you can have a drink, order drinks, make cocktails, DJ deck and everything.
Nice.
So, actually, at one point, we're going to have to do this in your podcast studio for one session, I think. That sounds maybe at the end of the quarter, when just after the quarter's finished, well, we will probably deserve a drink. So that sounds good.
100%.
Yeah. All right, let's pick on one of your topics, James. So where do you want to start? Let's go there.
You choose.
There's a lot there, to be honest.
That's the elephant in the room, the US election.
All right, go D. Address it.
Yeah. Actually, just some thoughts, some thoughts and musings. I'm actually not surprised Trump won. I think there's been a lot of almost like sentiment about how the economy was so much better under Trump, and obviously Americans they're feeling some sorts of pinches, right? And I don't know, the facts don't really point to saying that actually under Trump that America was that much better. You know, the deficit increased quite a bit more, right? But for some reason, you know, popular opinion is now swayed his way. So, like I said, I'm not exactly surprised that he won, but Wall Street seems to love it. I think, you know, businesses, seem to love it, small and large. They all feel like they're all going to prosper a little bit more under Donald Trump's administration. So very interesting. I'll see how the landscape changes for like stocks, startups, you know, tech businesses, probably even AI, right? Let's see if there are going to be any new initiatives that are going to be, you know, used to help scale up businesses. So that should be interesting.
Yeah, I think that just to your point there, like I think the whole Trump thing, in a way, am I surprised he won? Probably not. I kind of look at it that with Biden kind of falling out, like starting that election race and then kind of being replaced by Harris, didn't really set them off on the right foot, right? You almost replaced halfway through. And the crazy part is if you actually saw the kind of the map of the states, like apart from like the West Coast and the upper Eastern Seaboard, like pretty much the country was red, right? Like, and from that point of view, there's that kind of disconnect between the feelings and the things that you hear and see from people versus when it comes to vote time. Are people going in the booths and saying, well, publicly, I'm not sure how I feel about him, but actually, I kind of agree with some of the stuff he's doing, so I'm going to vote Trump because he got the votes ultimately, right? And it wasn't like it, and he won by a decent amount. He won the swing states that he needed to do. But I think more importantly, bringing it back to what might be relevant here is the impact of him coming in. And I think, yeah, look, the market's picked up, right? Like Wall Street, was a little bit more confident in there, and from all his kind of pros and cons, and I won't kind of get into any political views on here, but yeah, look, ultimately he was a successful businessman, right? So I think there's elements around the economy that he could probably add to, right? And I think he's trusted from that point of view.
I just think, put all that aside for a moment, I just think the guy is super impressive. You know, he came from wealth, yes, he did, but he built an empire. He lost an empire. He rebuilt it. He, at one point in his life, stood there and went, I'm going to be president.
Yeah.
And he did. And I think, you know, every single person listening to this can take something away from that. Like, it is down to you and what you want. And you can make it happen. You need a team, you need money, you need connections, all that good stuff. Depends what you want it to be. You might just want an allotment in your garden. That's what I'm trying to get right now. Just want an allotment, but I don't want to do anything with it. But I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah.
So one, I respect him. I respect him that he came twice now. Now, second time US president. I love that. I think he's an incredible leader. Yes, he's Marmite. Yes, he's done a lot of bad stuff, but I think he's the man for the job.
There's no doubt, like, he is a magnanimous character, right? I mean, he has so much charisma. And like him a lump, and you know, I'm probably more on the lump him side just because of the specific things he says. And, you know, like, he makes up facts. Nobody likes that, right? Nobody likes somebody who's just going to, you know, spur nonsense and bullshit. But, you know, he's used that to great advantage. So for that, you know, who am I to say anything about that? I mean, that's massive respect for him to be able to game the system like that. Whether, you know, he's actually going to do anything positive, I believe he probably will. You know, I think Americans were relatively happy other than the COVID situation under his presidency. But yeah, look, you know, like, to your point, James, you know, he has gone through quite a lot of different challenges. You know, he's obviously a massive character in lots of different cultures. Everyone knows his name. Like, even before he was president, everyone knew who he was. So, yeah, you know, I think there's definitely positives and negatives to it. We'll see what's going to happen again. But yeah, we'll wish all of our US colleagues and US compatriots all the best under the Trump administration.
Yeah, well, to be fair, it was interesting. I won't give a view on it, but I did have some US friends reach out to me and kind of say, do I have a spare room in my house for the next 4 years? So it's definitely kind of mixed on there. But yeah, to James's point, like, did he have ambitions and dreams? Yes, if you want them, I suppose you can go after them. Or the other thing is just get the Simpsons to kind of get you into one of their episodes in whatever you want, and it'll probably come true. So there's a load of stuff around that. I don't want to go not even going to go down the rabbit hole of what the Simpsons predict and what comes true, but we'll leave it at that, maybe on the Trump thing. But let's talk Black Friday, Cyber Monday. James, so you have no idea, right? So, okay, high level, give you a feel of what it is.
It happens on a Friday. I think like, people reduce the prices of some products. Everyone goes mental for it for one day. I don't get it. I'm not a big shopper, retail person.
Yeah. So effectively, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, very US centric where it started and came from. Just like Halloween, which is now kind of like big in the UK as well. But ultimately, it is that day where basically prices are slashed across brands, retailers, allowing people to potentially pick up a bargain. I suppose where this is kind of pertinent, having been in the kind of MarTech space for a long time, this is a huge period for sellers and tech providers that service online retailers or retailers full stop, right? Because their digital marketing teams or actually just their marketing digital marketing actually, because it's a digital event, but their marketing teams are actually, no, I tell a lie. Whilst it's digital, it's supposed to be. Last year, my local Quick Fit were actually had Black Friday events, and that was actually on a print bit of paper. But so everyone's kind of following suit around this. But a lot of people if you're in marketing, have been kind of fully focused, I would probably say, for the last 2-3 months at least, on a Black Friday campaign strategy to make sure they can drive revenue for their organization. So they see a big peak in Q4 for a lot of businesses. That either kind of makes their year or kind of breaks the year around what happens in Q4.
Yeah, and the actual term. Oh, sorry, James. Go on.
Well, yeah, that'd be an interesting question. But what's the typical size of discounts?
Oh, well, this is where we can get into this, right? Because there's people that are kind of saying that actually, like, is it kind of moving away from how it was intended to where it is now? And I'll give you a great example. Do you remember the New Year's, like in the UK, the New Year's sale, right? That used to be Jan 1st, you go anywhere, boom, you get a great bargain. Me personally, not because I'm type, I just have no bandwidth. So this is we're probably going back about at least 5 years, if not longer. Never got around to doing my Christmas shopping, and I'm just useless. So kind of went out on Christmas Eve to get my shopping done for presents. And yeah, like the sales were on already. So like basically at that moment in time, I was like, the sales are on. So they seem to be getting earlier and earlier from that point of view. And what seems to happen now is these Black Friday, Cyber Mondays, which were supposed to be held to these 2 very specific days, are now doing sales earlier and earlier. And the question that becomes is that, like, I don't know, is this now becoming a period versus those 2 kind of unique days? And really, are the discounts that good? Because the bit that I've seen is like, whether it's Amazon Prime Day or something around this, Amazon is a great example of, like, when they looked at this, there would be, let's say a TV cost £500, right? And it was reduced down to like £300 normally, right? Or whatever it might be. So it'd been on £300 on the Amazon site for the best part of 3 or 4 months. What was being seen was that they would actually put the price back up to £500 for a couple of weeks before Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And then Black Friday, Cyber Monday, knock it back down to £300 and say that, 40% off this TV. Where realistically, it was probably that price for the remainder of the year. So there's, like, not saying every brand's doing this, but there's been a number of examples I've seen with Amazon specifically where that kind of has been worked to kind of dupe the consumer.
Yeah. Yeah, interestingly, the name Black Friday was used for when, I think locally, when businesses used to go from red to black. So they'd always be in debt up until this period. So, the sales were used to obviously generate massive amounts of revenue. I've seen in some businesses like Cyber Week, I think it's like not only Cyber Week, so the Friday and the Monday, but the week before and the week after, those 3 weeks can account for up to like 40% in sales, which is insane for the entire year for some businesses. So it goes to show.
I had no idea that's why they called it Black Friday, because it would turn the kind of revenue business from debt to a profit. There you go. I did it hit first. I'm today years old to learn that. Yeah,
there you go.
So now, James, I give you a bit of context on it.
Yeah, it makes sense. So, like, any reason to incentivize, create an offer, get businesses to maximize attention in one day. But I wonder, if you're all trying to do something on Black Friday, why don't you come up with your own and call it White Monday the week before?
Well, I think you have to have like a massive brand presence, like Amazon, right, where they're everywhere. So they do their own Prime Day, like Anup was talking about. I mean, maybe if you're big enough, maybe they will start to do their own, like, sort of community-based sales specials or early access sales, whatever it is. But Black Friday it's not a convention.
It's equivalent of like Mother's Day, Valentine's Day. It's just something now that's just locked in, right? And I think like if you're looking, and maybe you correct me here, D, you probably know as well, but like whether it's say China or those regions, they have Singles Day, which is their equivalent. The Singles Day, not by definition, has nothing to do with dating, but the 11th of the 11th. So think about the single ones is their biggest shopping day. So by geo, it's different as well. But be interested to see like how tech sellers are finding it, because that used to, even for like tech, would drive a lot. So depending on if you're communicating, whether you're kind of selling channels like email, SMS, as we both know as well, D, from our time in different kind of MarTech solutions, would drive a lot of revenue. How are you finding it, D? Like generally, you've seen retailers that are still kind of pushing really hard. Has it quieted down compared to years in past, or even stronger?
Yeah, I think it's getting stronger every year. And that's what the stats are saying. Even right now, obviously, we've yet to see what the final numbers will come out like, but the growth is consistently there. People, like most businesses, are continually growing, and so it's a really like good way for them to be able to profit in this region. Like I said, again, turning from red accounts, not all red, of course, but from going from in the red to in the black. And I know like some businesses, like these digital marketing businesses that we're talking about, they generate upwards of several billions of dollars in revenue for retailers during this period of time. So let's say just that 1 week, where it's Friday to the Monday. Yeah, it's insane. It's such a phenomenon, not just in the US. Yeah, it is like quite global. I mean, the fact that we have it here, it just sort of migrated its way. But like Anup was saying, different markets will have like their own days. The China one is, I think, even bigger than Black Friday, which is mental, because I think that one's way new. I think it's only like 20-year-old tradition, the Singles Day. So yeah, it goes to show how something can be almost kind of made up on the spot.
All right, I want to ask you a question, because everyone's watching this, right? Like, so could you grab yourself a bargain? Because here's what's happened, right? So maybe if people do want to grab a bargain out there. So before Diran, because obviously I've stepped out of the retail e-commerce space for a little while right now, but like you're kind of still firmly in it. What you basically saw was people kind of hold back their best offers for the day. Then you kind of got it where they were like, oh, a couple of days before is when you can start doing the best offers. Now what I'm hearing is that sometimes they're doing these limited offers, which are like a week in advance, and once that offer's gone, because they're trying to get share of wallet really early. If you want to bag yourself a bargain, do you wait until the actual day, or do you try and buy it early on when the early offers come out?
Yeah. Different businesses do different tactics, and again, it does depend on, I'd say, like where you live in that ecosystem. So are you somebody who is known to them but hasn't purchased before? Are you a VIP who spends like probably the most amount, where you might get, to Noop's point, a very early access to that sale in which you are guaranteed to get the best offers? So it does depend on like, I
feel like we're in the election again. Like you're being a politician answer. Would you wait, or would you go early to get the best offers overall? Like not being, I know it varies across the board.
Yeah, I traditionally am an early buyer. I go early.
All right, good. There you go. You heard it here first. Diran George telling you, if you want to snag yourself a bargain, generally go early this Black Friday, Cyber Monday, to get your best deals in.
Can I bring in a question, please?
Go on, Jack.
So we talked about SMS. I'd like to know more about the power of SMS, but also WhatsApp messaging. This year, I found WhatsApp audio notes a complete game changer for everything I do. I reduce meetings, I get deals done, I build and maintain relationships. Texts I still look at. WhatsApps I still look at. WhatsApp groups are getting noisy. I'm getting lost in them, but I prefer them to Slack, which I think are even worse. What's your view on SMS and WhatsApp, particularly? And if you want to talk Slack and others, let me know.
Yeah, actually, James, before you do that, before we even get onto that and WhatsApp, let's stick with WhatsApp for a second. What's people's views on like WhatsApp messages versus voice notes? Because I've noticed that you've become a big voice note person. I'm not, if I'm honest. And the reason is, a lot of times is if I'm busy kind of on calls and stuff, I can glance at a message. I can't hear the voice note. Hence why I'm on that, where I'm just generally on kind of calls. So a quick message is a lot better than me. But like, yeah, what's your view on that, D? And if anyone's listening, are we going actually write the message or send the voice note?
Yeah, I default to text, but I mainly do audio notes when James is sending it to me. So it's like half. When I'm like, actually, it might just be quicker to say this in this time. When I can focus, yeah, definitely. But to your point, like Anup, I think text is just more generally available, and then like I think everybody can do it just easily, right? I think they're just more used to it. I do think audio notes are the future, and I think that there'll be apps like WhatsApp and other things that will do things like audio sentiment analysis. So, okay, right, is somebody like annoyed? Are they happy? What's the sort of that sort of thing? Where I think it's going to go to that extent. It's going to take a while, but text is still here to stay. But I think audio notes will definitely increase in the future.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's go to James's question then about.
Well, let me just add to that for a second. I now I realize that I struggle with writing. Like it's something I've always struggled with. So typing and writing takes me a long time. So the voice note is quicker. But now, if I want to, I do talk to text. So I just talk to text, and if I don't think you can read it, I can carry on talking, and you'll get a text. So that means you can still do what you want to do, but put it in the way that others want to receive it.
Yeah, love that. There you go.
Abbas Somji says LinkedIn's voice notes also work great at scale.
Oh, Abbas, I'm interested in that. Sorry, school me on this. LinkedIn's voice note. While I use LinkedIn a lot, is this kind of like a message? Are you talking about in DMs? Is this something you can do as a post? James, do you know?
Of course, James.
Of course, I know what they are, but I'll see if Abbas will come back with an answer.
Yeah,
do you want to? Can we get him in? Are you got a couple of minutes? Run everyone through the LinkedIn voice notes.
Right, let me. Abbas, if you're listening, I'm sending you a link.
Yeah.
Here, I'll send you one. Let's get him up.
Yeah, let's address your question then about WhatsApp and SMS in general. I'll throw in my 2 cents. So obviously, I work for a marketing company. SMS in this country, I think, has a bad rep because it's been used so much for spam. Especially if you look at like more business to consumer marketing. Business to business, I still think works well. I just don't think it's been utilized enough. So it's like a seller speaking with a prospect. I think it's all over traditional channels like email and social, LinkedIn, that sort of stuff. It still has propensity to blow up, but there are other technologies like RCS, which is Rich Communication Services. Those ones will likely get more traction, and they're sort of similar to WhatsApp. WhatsApp is great because it's free to use for a consumer. Everyone can download it, but business to use it to then message to their consumers, nobody likes that sort of power that Meta has over WhatsApp. It's like, you do things our way, otherwise you could be banned. But I think the tides will eventually change. RCS is going to become a little bit more competitive. It is more sort of open source on like iOS devices and Android devices, and it will start to compete with WhatsApp in that business scale, if you ask me.
All right, guys, we've got our first guest of the Pulse. Abbas, we're going to invite you up. Please be mindful, we are live across the world, so don't swear too much if you don't want to, or do what you like. I'm not going to cancel you.
That's a great warning, James. It's like, be careful, but actually do what you want.
Right, Abbas, welcome.
Hey, dude.
Hey, everyone. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Yeah, all good, all good. Yeah, James, don't worry. I won't turn this into a bit of a lads chat. So all good.
Abbas, can you just give us a background of who you are, what you represent today, like what you do in business, what expertise you've got, so we can start broadening the conversation on this subject?
Wow. So I could go on for a while, but in short, I run a business with my co-founder Leo, the Playbook Agency. We work with SaaS and Web3 businesses on their data enrichment, setting up cold email and LinkedIn systems, and also supporting on things like Clay implementations, which is a big kind of thing that we're doing in Q4. But that's it at the moment. Like we're working with some really exciting businesses. We're scaling quite quickly, and actually, I'm in Kosovo at the moment with my team, which is super exciting.
Awesome.
Congratulations. Well, welcome to the Pulse, where we talk about weekly subjects from tech, politics. I don't know, there might be something rubbing on your mic, just as an FYI.
Is that better?
Yeah, better, man. I was also going to say, so Abbas, that's Leo Branco, right? Like, yeah,
Yeah,
good guys.
yeah.
He's a good guy. I love what you guys are doing.
So I'll tell you what, because we talked about this earlier, and I think Abbas has got more knowledge on this than all of us. I talked last week that most sales tech built before 2003 is going to die. A new AI sales tech at the heart of their business is going to win. And I'm seeing new stuff out there like, I don't know, Rev.ai, Blend.ai, Artisan Solutions AI, Launched AI, who else? Loads of AI.
AI.ai.
AI. So what's actually working out there, what people are using, and what are people trying to use even faster? Because you're an implementation agency, so they must come to you when they're like, we really want to use this stuff, but we don't know how to use it or what to use.
Yeah, it's a really interesting time at the moment in like go-to-market engineering land. What I'm seeing a lot of, like James, I completely agree. You know, if we can name drop like SalesLoft, Outreach, like using tools like that is kind of dead at the moment. They're not really working too well. They're a bit more of a task management system rather than actual like true automation. And what the teams are finding is, one, RevOps don't have time to build these things out. They're busy with HubSpot, they're busy with Salesforce. The second thing is that the expertise in-house, like no one's, it's actually not a sales job, these tools, it's just technical. And so what we're seeing a lot of is businesses coming to us and saying, hey, we want to implement AI in our process, but we've used some of the off-the-shelf solutions and they're really a big challenge. So off-the-shelf solutions and kind of end-to-end AI SDR, I don't think that's replacing anyone anytime soon, because it lacks the nuance of like, hey, I'm going to do this specific campaign targeted towards, let's just say, React devs in a certain niche, for example, right? It's really difficult to get that nuance through AI SDRs. And so what I'm seeing a lot of now is basically workflow implementation and getting the steps kind of engineered in the correct way. And Clay's become the heart of that for some businesses at the moment, or they're at least trying to build it. The second part is on the data enrichment side.
We're doing that. Look, I think it's, I was going to ask you a question. Like, I'm going to stop you there because the first part was around it's not RevOps job. Sorry, RevOps don't have the time to build it. When you say build it, are you referring to like something like a SalesLoft or an Outreach put into the business, or are you referring more to like then the kind of cadences? Like, just to clarify anyone listening.
Yeah, I mean, like, so RevOps don't have time to fix the problem because they're maintaining the systems. So, with for example, SalesLoft, Outreach, everyone knows that there's like a challenge with deliverability at the moment, right? And so RevOps are not looking at, for example, hey, can we set up the domain infrastructure slightly different for marketing versus sales? How do we make sure that the reps actually have enough, ammunition that they can reach their target through some of these high leverage channels? So, for example, we've all been there where our SDRs or AEs have been blocked on Gmail because they've done more than 100 touches in a day, right? Now, do you really want to limit your reps in terms of how many people that they can go after? Of course not, right? So how do we remove those barriers? But the challenge is that these guys are so busy maintaining the systems and have so many problems that they can't actually get into the crux of like how to solve the issue. So that's what I'm seeing a lot of.
Nice. And the second part, I don't know whether your sleeve or something's catching in the mic, but it's just a bit of noise coming off the back of that. Second one would be, you mentioned Clay. For everyone out there that doesn't know Clay, I'm just hearing Clay everywhere at the moment. So just a brief overview of what they do, and then why are so many of the companies you're kind of speaking to, either you're suggesting Clay or they want to use Clay?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the outcome, right? So I think if you're hitting target and everything's going well, don't adjust what you're doing right now. Like, I think it's a dangerous thing to start, throwing in new tools and things like that. However, I think most people at the moment are feeling a bit of a squeeze, or, a lot of businesses are trying to lower their CAC, right? And so Clay is like a super connector, I'd say. So you can plug in a bunch of different APIs. So say, for example, you want to connect 10 different data providers in one fancy Google Sheet. You can then ensure that you get the data for your sales team. So one of the challenges I had as an SDR was I would log into Lucia or Cognizant, find, let's just say, 1,000 contacts, and only 300 of them had mobile phone numbers or valid emails. Now, how do you make a SDR like me be able to call as many people? Because I've done the research of 1,000 people now. They're all good contacts, but I can only call or email or text 300 of them, right? So one of the quickest ways that you can win is actually having multiple data providers that are kind of, back to back to back. And then you can get up to what we're finding is 70 to 80% coverage using a tool like Clay to kind of waterfall these data points. So just by doing that, you've doubled your team's TAM for the week, month, quarter, whatever, without actually doing any more work.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Okay.
That's super helpful. And I think Clay is going to become the core infrastructure for go-to-market build-out going forward into 2025. They might be point solutions. They might not be. Let's forget talking about the old guard. We know who they are. Who's the new guard where you're like, whoa, I like them, we're using them, or they're going to be super valuable in what we do with, I don't know, cold email infrastructure or phone calls or LinkedIn or anything like that?
Jake, can I add an element to that? Like, I love that question, by the way. I'm thinking, Abbas, for the people out there now, whether you're founders, businesses want to change, what's the ideal tech stack for GTM based upon your experience now that's going to include the good stuff? What if you had to wish list right now, you had to go and design it for an organization, what are you telling them to get?
Yeah, so first thing is set up multiple domains and get the infrastructure in place. You can do that fairly cheaply. I mean, what I would do is the scrappy ways of doing it. So, for example, getting resellers from India brings the cost down. I'm very cheap, by the way. So if I can get my cost down per row, per lead, per whatever, and get my CAC down, that's like the most important thing for me. So I would get the infrastructure set up. There are tools like Maildoso that can spin up multiple inboxes really quick. However, my experience with those types of tools is they go down quite quickly. And so old school, like just setting up Gmails is a good start. In terms of tech stack, I think for sending you can use something like Smart Lead. Instantly, I really like as well. If I was a solo founder, I'd use Instantly because it has a CRM built in as well. A really cool tool. Clay would be the heart of what I would do. And then I'd use tools like Better Contact, which is a way to get your Clay credits down because it's a pay-as-you-go service, and then you can add kind of all the enrichments for phone number and email through there, and you can connect that directly into Clay. And then for copywriting, Perplexity is really good if you create spaces in Perplexity. And so you can upload files, upload, like, for example, strategy documents, things like that, who your target ICP is. I also use Perplexity a lot for research as well. So if I'm researching, for example, what are go-to-market leaders' pain points in Europe at the moment, it gives a really good breakdown. You can keep on prompting it to get further understanding, especially if it's a new market that you haven't researched. And then I really like Attio as a CRM instead of HubSpot.
Sorry, I want to know more about Attio. So this is a great plug. I've signed up.
Me too. I've heard lots of good things. So
HubSpot's too expensive. I use Close.io, which is simple and easy, but not easy enough. I feel like Attio is selling me the dream of a future CRM, but I might. Is it a gimmick?
It's good. It's good. I really should get some affiliates set up with these guys because I feel like I'm selling all these tools, right? But yeah, Attio is a really good one for me as like a busy founder because it connects directly to my Gmail. I can just see my conversation history really quickly. Everyone's already in the CRM, and I can turn it into a deal in a single click. So I don't have to upload like, okay, I spoke to James Ski today, and this and this happened. There's a lot of automations. Plus, like, it's really easy to. We're a Slack business, so connecting. You have a closed one deal. The team can go crazy in the Slack channel, and it's just very easy to set up automations. But I don't know at a mid-market enterprise level if there's sufficient kind of marketing automations, things like that you might use HubSpot for. But I really like it.
Love that. By the way, shout out UK tech business as well, right? So have a quick look there. Alexander and Nicholas, founders of that. Shout out to those guys because they seem to be making waves in that space, hearing good things.
Awesome.
Let's get him on the pulse, and let's get a pulse discount.
How about the reason we asked you to come on was around the LinkedIn voice notes. School us, please.
Yes. So LinkedIn voice notes are an interesting one. So as you guys know, LinkedIn automation is like rife. As soon as you connect with someone, you're getting, a 3-step message system, and some of the messages that you guys are probably in your DMs right now are, like a Harry Potter novel. And so what I'm noticing is we've started experimenting with LinkedIn voice notes at scale. So, and what you can do is with platforms like Growth Machine, I think Lemlist can do it now, and there's a bunch of other tools that can kind of automate the voice note process. Is you can send a really generic voice note. So just be like, hey, just thought I'd connect. Reason being is we're doing X, Y, Z, and thought it might be worth a conversation. Not even say the name, and what that does is it kind of breaks the noise in terms of, oh, okay, this isn't a generic bullshit, sequence. So, and Diran, you're nodding your head like, what have you seen from doing that? It feels like you've been experimenting with that as well, right?
So not with voice notes, but actually I done an experimentation a while back with it's a tool. Oh gosh, I forget what it's called, but it actually personalized images inside of LinkedIn, and so it would help you like personalize the prospect image, logo, as well as the name. So actually, it breaks through noise, and they allowed you to A/B split test very, very easily. So you can see, okay, right, the people who are responding to those ones versus like your standard text. And it was an uplift. It was about 20-something%. I can't remember. I have to find the name of this tool, but I haven't really used it since then. Just because I'm not really one for prospecting right now. But yeah, definitely in the future, it will be something we could use. 100%.
Diran, what are you thinking about LinkDeal? Like, you're going to voice notes there as well as that? Is that something that could happen?
It's funny you mentioned that because Abbas, I was just thinking, oh, okay, that's really interesting because LinkDeal will be more about the personalization on the DM side, but of course, there's so many tools now that can train your own voice, your own way of talking. So it could be a fully personalized, voice, a voice message that ends up inside of your inbox, which would be really cool. Actually, it's like having, again, somebody who's just doing all this dial-in or outbounding for you on autopilot, but it's for you, if that makes sense, from you directly.
By the way, just on that, right? So I'm not sure if I mentioned this last week. Guys, did I talk to you about autogen.ai last week?
Can't remember. Autogen. I'm just looking.
You need to check this shit out. I think this tech is amazing, right? So basically, you have to sign up to the premium one. What you basically do is you film a video of yourself for about a couple of minutes. It then creates you an avatar. So you can create, there's avatars that are in there anyway that you can go and kind of create or pick stock avatars, as you would say, or you can do one of yourself. You can then select the voice. You can put your own voice in, like create a 2-minute voice note or whatever. It then populates that. Then you just go in there and plug in a script, and that avatar will look like it's you talking, right? So think about the use cases there. So, and it will flip the language. So imagine SDRs. If you have to go and start targeting people, France, Germany. Now, obviously, you might just want it to grab their attention, have the first bit in a certain language so they listen to it. But it's a way that you could start to, the use case on that is brilliant, right? You could probably start creating those videos, personalize it in local languages if you're trying to break into certain markets, and it's personalized to them. It's really, really cool tech. The other ways you can kind of use it as well is especially if you're an early stage business, you haven't got a load of employees, you're thinking about kind of onboarding videos, getting customers in, record this. It looks like you're doing it all. You don't have to sit there, film, script any of it. As soon as you write the script, it will just plug and play and it will just read it out. So that's a huge one. So yeah, shout out to the guy, Dave King, and the team from AutoGen doing a really, really good job in that.
We're not secretly an investor.
No, they're just they're doing some great stuff. I'll give a shout. There's a UK version of that as well called Synthesia. Nadia is VP sales over there. She's great. So Synthesia are there. I think they're more in the kind of like the L&D type use case there, really. But yeah, this one is pretty much like a B2C. You can go in there, just plug in there. It just takes a monthly. You can start doing it. So it's pretty cool. Start creating avatars. James, the amount of content you make could be something that could work pretty well for you. Just end up plugging in scripts and have multiple videos done.
Guys, I'm sold on Attio.
Oh, you've been looking at that. Okay.
You set up in like 2 minutes, right?
If you guys know the founders, let's get him on board because this is sweet. I've always wanted to just use my inbox as my pipeline rather than going into a CRM, coming back into my inbox.
Do you know what, James? I'm reaching out to Nicholas now, see if we can get him on a podcast.
Look at us.
We'll get him on.
Making stuff.
Wow. They've raised $3 million as well.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, and like it ranks everybody that I've been communicating with. It tells me like who is most likely to pick up the phone to me, right? Like Jan, I was on the phone with yesterday. I click his profile. 122 emails we've shared between each other.
There's another really cool tool that actually Leo put me onto. Leo's always hot on the tech at the moment, and it's called like Swarm. And what we did and what we're doing at the moment is we've basically uploaded both of our connections from LinkedIn, and it's ranked everyone that we have like the strongest connection with, or both of us, and then we filtered it by job title. So now we've got basically 2,000 to 3,000 VPs of sales that we can go after and kind of do like a manual reach out. So really cool.
Okay, so what's that one called?
Swarm. Let me try and find it. It's called theswarm.com. Theswarm.com.
Right. That sounds.
Yeah, for the amount of connections you've got, James, like I think that'll be a good one for you.
Abbas, sorry, mate. Do you know what? I was too busy emailing Nicholas. That's what we do, just live. What does Swarm do? Give me the 30 seconds. I was like, obviously, I can't multitask, so can't hear and do two things at the same time.
It's all good. So Leo put me onto it, but basically, you can connect your LinkedIn and your email to the Swarm and get your team on there as well. And then you can start basically ranking, or it will auto rank like the strength of your connections. So, for example, right, you might show up on ours as like a double connection that we have, plus your job title. And so you make a good target for me and Leo in terms of, sales automation later down the line. And so what we've done is basically uploaded both of our connections, both on email and LinkedIn. It's then ranked everyone. And then we've seen, okay, well, if we've got 2 intros here, then let's go after them basically, because they'll know our content, then, they know what we do and things like that. Really cool though.
Love that. Thank you for explaining it to me.
And also, there's a really hacky way that you can get the data for free as well. But I don't know if I can share that outside of.
Yeah, maybe. I'll add you to our private WhatsApp group for the Pulse.
For the hack.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Appreciate that. Yeah, thanks for some great insights there, James. We're at time now, so Abbas. Appreciate you jumping on. Love this when people can just kind of jump into the call. Well, Diran, do you want to do this week wrap up?
Oh gosh, I was saying I don't know if I could follow you the same as last week.
That's why I asked you specifically. To be fair, oh, actually, Abbas, you do the wrap up. Do you know a little bit about the Pulse and what we do?
No.
Okay, this is the wrap up then. Diran, over back to you.
Yeah, I'll just off the cuff it. It won't be great, but yeah, just wanted to wrap up. So want to say, like, if you've got any topics you want to follow up with, like letting us know about new tech, new business, anything that's on your mind, let us know what's going on. We'll try and cover that next week to go YouTube style. But I guess from the four of us on the call, so James, Anup, Abbas, and myself, been really good chatting to you. Abbas has been awesome. Love to pick your mind as well, a little bit more about some of these other like sort of workflows and systems you're using, because it sounds like you've tested a lot. And I'm sure there's probably a lot of people on the call that would love to chat to you as well. But yeah, in the meantime, have a good rest of the week. Have a great weekend. We look forward to next week when we can chat to more of you. Please keep letting us know all of your thoughts, and we'll speak to you then.
By the way, just very quickly, Abbas, one last chance to plug the Playbook Agency, because you came on as a great guest, and then we'll wrap. Go.
Oh yeah, thank you. So the Playbook Agency, we're basically a RevOps as a service agency, go-to-market operations, anything you need in terms of cold outbound data enrichment, we can support you on. Basically, if you need to book more meetings, like, we should chat. So that's us.
Thanks, guys. Well, listen, thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Speak soon. Bye.
Bye. Oh, James is off.
All right.
See you, right?